Hey gang, Bill from the Outdoor Lab here. Today we're going to talk about selecting crossbow cases. So if you're looking for some way to transport your crossbow, I know you've got pretty sizable investments in these pieces of equipment. We're going to talk about soft cases, semi-rigid cases, and rigid cases, and why you might pick one over the other. And also I'm going to show you, I'm going to call it my hack of making your own crossbow case. Not designed for it, not specified for it, but I think it could work in the right conditions. And given that you can put a sizable investment in your crossbow and certainly in the case, this is a worthy consideration. So we'll talk about that later. A couple major things that you want to think about when you're going to buy a crossbow case is, first of all, what are you looking to do? If you're going to go from home to hunt or camp to hunt, a soft case might be all you need. If you're not looking for a lot of weather protection, it's going to be bouncing around in the back of a truck on the way to camp, and you're going to travel over rough terrain, you might choose a different case. It's a little bit harder, more rugged. And if you're going to actually travel on an airplane where you want to lock it and you want to protect it from the gorillas who handle luggage, then you're going to want to look at a different type of case that has a lot more robust capability to protect that big investment. So I'm going to walk through the options today and give you everything you need to know to select the right case for you. Okay gang, first one we're going to talk about here is a soft case. Most manufacturers of crossbows produce some kind of a soft case that fits a lot of their models. There's also a lot of aftermarket. If you check in the footer of this video, you'll see links to all kinds of options. A few things that you want to pay attention to when you're buying a soft case. Number one, look for, if you're going to buy a soft case, buy one that has a lot of storage capability to put your arrows and quiver in. Carry, if you have a draw rope or handles, some extra gear. This soft case has a lot of extra space in it, and if I were going to use this and transport, I would probably put some of my hunting gear in here, some clothing, things that would add some additional cushioning to it. It has a little bit of cushioning capability. A couple of other things that I like about these kind of cases: has carry handle, but this one in particular has backpack straps. This makes it really nice to keep your hands free if you're walking through an airport or you're dragging other gear with you. And it's just one of the other things that you want to consider as you're buying a soft case. This case is going to give you a little bit of moisture protection, so if it was raining here, you'd get a little bit of protection for your crossbow, but obviously no impact protection, and I certainly wouldn't put this in a luggage compartment of a plane. Might put it in the back of my truck if I'm going from camp and I'm going to drive a few states away to go hunting. It'll give you some impact protection. But that's a soft case. There's lots of selection. You're going to find price ranges from $100 to several $100s, but there's an awful lot of selection in these. So that's a soft case. If you're looking for minimal protection and something to store your crossbow in, this is a good start. All right, gang, the next one I want to talk about is what I would call is a semi-rigid case. This one is made by 10 Point. It's designed to fit a lot of their high-end crossbows. The reason I call it semi-rigid is it is pretty sturdy, but it's definitely not going to give you very much impact protection and certainly no crush protection. I would never check this in luggage, but this is a great option if you're going to be transporting in your truck to a hunt or going to bounce around some country roads. This is pretty generic in its sizing, and you have to kind of make sure that when you select your crossbow, make sure that it does fit. 10 Point will be able to tell you this. Here's a curious thing that I noticed about this. I have an Oracle X on my flatline, and the height of this, well, it seems like it might fit in, and I can actually zip it tight if I have to. But what it does is it depresses the on button of my Oracle X and runs the battery out. So it is not recommended for any crossbows mounted with any of the range-finding scopes. But a traditional size scope that comes on most of your 10 Points, this will actually fit. So the fact that it is semi-rigid means you are going to get some impact protection. It does have a carry handle, but this is a pretty good uptick from a soft-sided case. This will give you some moisture protection and dust protection, but as I said, no impact and crush protection. and it is not lockable, so I would not put this in luggage. Here's the next option, and this is specifically a Raven option for a semi-rigid case. The reason I say it's semi-rigid is this is a plastic case. It's pretty tough, but it's not 100% impact resistant, although I think you could use this safely to travel. But this one is designed specifically for particular Raven crossbows, and if you look at the way the foam is cut out, you need to talk with Raven to make sure. They make two versions, covers about 10 of their different models, but the foam cutouts are specifically made for each. There's not a lot of extra room in this, but the Raven crossbows do fit nicely in here. So this is the R500, and you can see how it fits very nicely in here, very secure. Like I said, there's not a lot of extra space. You do have room for your quiver and your arrows and a few little extra ditties. It does have room for a range-finding scope. A couple of other things to pay attention here. This case has very secure hinges, which the reason that's valuable is if you happen to have one of the latches open during travel, you've got additional latches, but you've also got a very secure backside, so you're not going to find the case trying to open itself by bouncing around. The other thing to notice is there's an O-ring seal here. This seals out moisture, water, dust, insects, all the kind of bad things that you don't want to mess around, get on your crossbow. A few other things that I notice and I really like about this. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different latches. Very, very secure latches. And so they have to be very positively latched, and they very positively unlatched in order to get these off. So you're not going to find this is going to be this is going to cause a problem. The other thing I noticed is this is TSA lockable. You can put locks here to lock your crossbow safely if you're going to travel with it. It also has rolling wheels here, so when you lock your crossbow and you want to take it through an airport, you can roll it nice and easily through an airport. And it's got a very secure carry handle and a very secure drag handle. So this is a terrific option for your Raven crossbows. It is model specific, so be sure you get the one that fits your crossbow. But other than that, this is a terrific option for carry, transport, and storage of your crossbow long term. All right, guys, the last kind of case I want to talk about is a super rigid hard case. This is made by SKB. These guys are used to transporting very delicate equipment and protecting it in all kinds of conditions. These are mil-spec approved cases. They'll protect from water, moisture, impact, and about everything you can imagine. They are very model specific. This particular one is designed for the 10-point flatline 460. There is room to put my Oracle X range-finding scope into this, but it's made specifically for each model crossbow. So you got to know which one you're selecting. SKB has a whole list of SKUs for this, so be sure to select the right one. They actually have several for 10-point, several for Raven. I think they have Excalibur and a couple of other of the major manufacturers, Mission. But when you get this, this is a bulletproof case. Plenty of room for extra gear. Things like a shooting stick you can put in here. You can put the room for some clothing and things. But when you seal this thing up, this thing isn't going anywhere. It's got 7 latches with a very rugged hinge on the back. These latches are made to not move, and they have a very interesting design of their latches, that in order to release them, you actually have to squeeze a latch release in order to get that to release. So once this thing does seal, this thing seals permanently. They are lockable, so I have TSA locks here. They have a number of locking points that you can put these things in. Just be sure when you select locks, make sure that TSA can open them. Got to make sure you have the Travel Secure logo on them. A few other things about this case. Hugely impact resistant. I can stand on this case. It has carry handles on 3 of the sides. Plus it has a drag handle that comes through so you can take it through the airport really nice and easy. Check out the wheels. These are replaceable skate wheels, but they are rugged and bulletproof, and there's 2 on each side. So this thing is made for the ages, and there is no luggage guy in the airline industry that's going to damage this. So for you guys who are looking at your Crossbow as a top-end investment, and you can easily get $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 invested in your crossbows, this is the very best way to transport them. I told you I would tell you a little bit about how I would make I'm going to call it my home hack crossbow case. Given the fact that crossbow cases can be a few hundred to many hundreds of dollars, not an unworthy investment given that you've got several $1,000s invested in your high-end crossbow, and wherever you want to go, you want to make sure it arrives ready to shoot. But given the fact that you can put a lot of money into cases, I'm going to show you a way to do a home hack very inexpensively. This is Plano's Hunter's Locker. It's about a $40 case, but there's a couple things that I think make this worthy. Number one, there are very few lockable cases that are this large, and in order to fit a crossbow, obviously you got to have the ability to get it in. Most of the compound limbed crossbows will fit into this case. Almost none of the recurve crossbows will fit this case, but almost all of the compound will. Have to put it on an angle. This gives you about 34 inches by 17 by about 12 inches height. You'll have to pack it with some gear and some things to give it some padding, but there are a couple of things that make this worthy. This is not a weather sealed case, but it is pretty secure in the fact that it has a full length piano hinge. It has 4 good secure locking lugs here. It also is TSA lockable, so if you want to store it or transport it, you can lock it. One other thing that I think is worthy is it's got a good carry handle and it's got rolling wheels, so that if you want to grab it and go through an airport, it does have the ability to roll. So it's not really designed as a crossbow case. You have to kind of make it yourself. But it's something worthy given the fact that the price point of this is $40, and the price point of almost any other crossbow case you buy, whether it's soft, semi-rigid, or hard, is going to be a few hundred to many hundreds of dollars. This is a worthy consideration.